here is part 7 of my conversation with Lisa Bloom, and she talks about what inspired her to write this new book, Suspension Nation, a deeper look into the Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman case. Take a listen. Now, I have a two-part question for you. Okay. How did being a lawyer help you merge and inspire you into being an author? Okay. And what inspired you to pursue civil rights law over any other practice?
Yes. Well, let me answer the second one first. So I always knew that I wanted to be a civil rights lawyer. I didn't want to represent corporate America. There's lots and lots of lawyers happy to do that job, and they get very well paid. The people who don't get lawyers are the people who have discrimination claims, the people who are mistreated or abused. Those are the people who I wanted to help because I felt like I could make a difference. So my law practice right now in Los Angeles and New York centers on employment discrimination, housing discrimination, family law, and general civil cases where I feel that I can really make a difference and help someone. As for being an author, I always wanted to write books. I've always loved books. I've been a bookworm ever since I was 2 years old, and my mother took me to the doctor and said, I think something's wrong with her because all she wants to do is read books. And I have not changed in the last 50 years. So I'm 52 now, and I'm just as much a bookworm as ever. And, I feel like writing books is my calling and my legacy, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to do it. And when people tell me they read my books and it changed my life, changed their life, that's the highest praise I can get, and I feel like I've done something useful in this world.
Right now, when you've accomplished a lot in 52 years. Okay, you've accomplished a lot. You had your own talk show, host your own show. You've been a legal analyst at NBC. You have been on everybody's talk show. Okay, and you've been to college. You have your own legal practice. You're writing books. So I have the ultimate question for you, and the answer to this question is really for women who say they can't do it, who it can't be done, and it's not enough time. I don't have, who all has more complaints than they do solutions. How do you have the time to do everything that you do, and what was your steps to getting to this point, right where you're at right now?
So I talk about that in my book, Think, my first book. Think is subtitled Straight Talk for Women to Stay Smart in a Dumbed Down World. And I talk about all the demands on our time. I'm very careful about how I use my time. I also raised 2 kids as a single mom while I was doing all these things as well. And, I talk about not doing the things that are not worth your time. For example, housework. So it turns out that working women, on average, spend 1 hour per day more doing housework than working men. This makes me want to hurt somebody. It's 2014, and this has to stop. So I have a whole chapter in my book, Think, about how we have to stop this. We have to get everybody in the household to contribute equally. We have to get kids to do chores. I'm very big on that, so that mom does not do everything, and so that mom has time for her own projects and her own creativity, which I think is very important. Mom has to value her time. And if she does that, then everybody in the household will too. If she doesn't, everybody's going to walk all over her. So I always have valued my time. I'm always very cautious about saying yes to things I don't really want to do. I don't have a problem saying no. And the things I want to do, I want to practice law. I want to do my television commentary, which I do frequently, daily. And I want to write my books. Those are the things I want to do, so those are the things I do. I also would say to women that you can have it all. You just can't have it all at the same time. So you can have your career, you can have your kids, you can have your relationship, but it is really hard to do everything 100% all at the same time. When my kids were little, I worked part-time. So I picked them up from school, and I would stop work at around 3 and pick them up from school and have that time together, because I knew that was very precious time when my kids were little. And I was able to do that, and so, it worked. My kids are all, there's two of them. They're both grown now. And so I have more time. They're both grown. They have their own lives. My daughter's a law student. My son's a dancer. So I have more time to do my thing and write my books. But nevertheless, I'm very protective of my time because ultimately our time is all that we have. So I don't want to waste it. And I want to do the things that are important and meaningful to me. So I encourage other women to do the same, and men.
What is your ultimate message you want to get across to the listeners tonight? What is one thing that you want them to know, either about your new book or just in general as a society as a whole?
Well, I guess as to my book, Suspicion Nation, I wanted to expose the injustice of that case. I hope people will read it and decide for themselves, whether the case was handled appropriately or not. I think I make a pretty good case for the fact that it wasn't. And then ask themselves what they can do to contribute to a better country, because I think it's up to all of us in a democracy to do that. And I would love to hear from any of your listeners on Twitter, where I am at Lisa Bloom, or on Facebook. I have a Lisa Bloom author page, and I have a website, lisabloom.com. Do you sense a theme? So I'd love to hear from anybody, especially my readers. I really enjoy hearing back from my readers. So I want to thank you so much, Taj, for a terrific interview.
Thank you, and everybody else, thank you for listening to another special edition of the Talk with Taj show. Log on to the official website for this interview and more at talkwithtaj.com, and follow Lisa Bloom at lisabloom.com, and buy all books, not just the one, buy all three. It will definitely help you. Lisa, thank you very much for coming on to the Talk with Taj show. We definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, Taj.
And that was my full interview with Lisa Bloom. Thanks for tuning in, and log on to her official website at lisabloom.com and my official website at talkwithtaj.com. Thanks for joining us right here on the Talk with Taj show. Until next time, see you soon.